I'm going to show you guys how I read 500 books in 10 years. The way that I did it, it was definitely a mix of audiobooks and paperbacks, but I'm going to show you a simple hack today about what you can do to get through one paperback a month and then 4 audiobooks. I prioritized learning, so it was quite easy for me. And once I got into the habit and routine, it was very, very simple. So first things first, the paperback books. How do you read one book a month? Because if you're going to read one book a month, then you know that's 12 books a year, which is definitely more than the average person is reading. So I'm going to show you a simple hack that I do that helps me to read one book a month. So I get a book that I'm going to read. I'll show you one that I'm currently reading now and what I've done. I'm up to day 3. Sorry, I should have done this from the start. However, for the purpose of today, this is the book that I am reading, Spirit Hacking. Now you can see what I've done on the side. I'm currently up to day 3 here. Is I've taken the entirety of the book and I have gotten to the last page, then divided the total number of pages that I'm going to read by 30. I just do 30, so 303. So I've then divided it pretty much into 10 pages. And every 10 pages, I put a little mark on it. Now I'll explain why this one's here in a minute, but let's take it from day 4. So day 4 we have here, and we just know that then by the end of the day, we need to get to page 5. And if we just follow this simple process, we're going to get through this whole book in a month. It is not too hard, but what this does is it gives us a goal, shows us where we want to finish, okay? And it's very, very achievable because it's very, very small. So that's something easy that you can do. Last night I was so tired, I only read 2 pages. So I still have to get up to day 4. So I'm going to finish the book in 31 days, not 30, which is fine because I just get my day 3, I put it at the top, knowing I need to get to page 4 by tonight. But also, if you're on a roll and you're in the zone, it's very, very easy for you to bypass day 3, 4, 5 and get through the book quicker. If that's how you're feeling, this is just the minimum that you want to do in order to finish your book in 30 days. The other thing that helps with reading a paperback is trying to read it at the same time every day, because then you create a habit and a routine. I read before bed, before I go to sleep, because it helps me to get to sleep and it means I'm not on my screens. So reading 10 pages helps me get to sleep and not on my screens. Now we're going to do one together. This book I used as an example because it's pretty thick and it's going to be a bit of a process. So I picked this book up, which is The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. Never heard of it before. I've read Think and Grow Rich multiple times, but this book here has 679 pages and is pretty lofty. Now, when I bought this book, I also bought myself an exercise book because I wanted to study it. It seemed pretty meaty. It's Napoleon Hill, love the classics. So this is going to take me more than 30 days. Which is fine because I'll probably get through more audiobooks anyway. And I'll share that, how I do that in a minute. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to read it in 2 months. 679 pages. I can commit to 11 pages a day, which is fine because I'll need that also in order to reflect this book. So I've got my exercise book. I've committed to studying it. And I've already worked out where I need to get my post-it notes and write it. So I'm going to do that up later today, and that's exciting because once I've finished this book here, I've already got my next one ready to go. It also means that, no offense, Shaman Durek, but if I get to page 15, I'm like, this book is not for me. I don't count that as necessarily read, but you also, just because you start a book doesn't mean you need to finish it. And it took me years to understand that. So if this is no good in 15 days, Napoleon Hill, my bestie, he is going to be there to help me, take me the rest of the way. Now, audiobooks, quite easy for me to, I love audiobooks. I'm obsessed with it. Audible are not sponsoring this video by any means. However, I love audiobooks. I love listening to them on 1.5 speed. The reason why is because when you're listening to them slightly faster, your brain actually has to focus more on deciphering the words. And when we're listening to audiobooks at such a slow speed, what that does is it gives our brain too much time to think. We start wandering off. And then it also means that, we're not paying attention, we're not taking in anything. So I like to listen at 1.5 speed minimum, 1.75 if I can, because then I have to focus more on actually paying more attention to the content, but then I also get through more at the same time. So I get through on average a book a week. If they're shorter, I get through too. I listen when I'm in the car, I listen when I'm doing anything monotonous, cleaning, and also I listen, I actually sometimes switch between listening to something inspiring on YouTube or audiobook when I'm doing my makeup. I just have my headphones in because it's an easy way. Otherwise, I'm just staring at myself for half an hour. So I put those two habits together and I can listen to more products then. Another tip when reading paperbacks is to, because the same rule applies, right? We can actually read at a faster pace if we know how. And the rate at which we read, our mind often wanders off. So when I read, I use an aid. And I got this tip from both Tim Ferriss and Jim Quick. So when you read, you can either use your finger or use an aid, and you just trace under each word slightly faster than you would naturally read. And what that does is it forces you to focus on what you're reading and you get through the page quicker. And by doing that, it means that you can get through not so intense books. So this one's quite an intense book because it requires you to do a bit of change, but I find I can get through information books super quickly, going quite quickly with that technique as well. So those are my big tips on how to read 500 books. And I know that 500 books in 10 years seems like a massive lofty goal, and who cares, and you'll fall off after a while. Yeah, you know what? Once you've created the habit of being a lifelong learner, it's a hard one to break. I've now read, I reckon nearly 600 books. I've stopped counting. 500 was I started a goal when I wanted to start 500, and then I tracked every book until I ticked off 500. So that's what I did. So I've just lost count of the books that I've been reading since, or that I read before, because I didn't start then. But 10 years is going to pass anyway. And if you're only on average reading 10 pages a night, and if you're just listening to books instead of listening to the radio, either when you're cleaning or driving or doing your makeup, you don't need to take music out of your life, just maybe out of one of those scenarios, you can very easily add knowledge to that. And I love prioritizing those classic authors. I feel like so much information that we get is just regurgitated. So that is why when I found old Napoleon Hill there, he came home with me, because there's a book just fell in. The classics is really where all of the nuggets are found. And so I hope this helps you guys. Please let me know what you think in the comments. It has been a hot minute since I posted, so more long form videos coming for you guys. You can see all of my millions of shorts because I like to yap daily. I'm back on my TikTok channel and also here on YouTube, so you can catch them. But yeah, please let me know what other videos you'd like to hear from in the comments, and I'll speak to you guys soon.